bankrupt and they'll be able to step in. But I know because of how many people are rooted into this country, and they have to have the United States of America for this entire agenda to work. So if they do this and they go public, what I honestly believe is that it's just going to start a gigantic fight, and it will. I mean, it'll basically put the United States in the center of the Third World War, which would be what can I say? It'll be an interesting time to be alive here. But that's only if they manage to do it.
Like a Red Dawn situation in downtown Washington, D.C.?
Maybe so. And I like to say, I've been a soldier for 12 years. I've spent 4 years in the Special Operations Command. I've been to Afghanistan. And I know exactly what I stand for is that. I know that. I know what my oath is. And fortunately, most people in the military that I know still, and I get different things from other soldiers that I know at their unit, but most soldiers do not like what's going on. They are not hip with this whole thing, so it will be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I personally am more of a take care of the self and family concept and wait to see what happens, because I've seen this talk for so long, and really the only solution to this problem, if you ask me, my wife said it kind of in a good way to me, was that you can't save a body that's ravaged by cancer. It's just there's no way to save it. You have to start over, and that's the way this government is it's just too far gone. So anything short of that, I think, is just going to be. I don't think it'll be successful. But hey, you know what? You're right. It could be the spark that leads to something bigger. So I don't know. That's the thing. There's going to be a lot of collateral damage, though, and like my wife just whispered in my ear, the elderly, the children, the people that can't fight for themselves. Boy, it's going to be bad if that comes to bear. I'm going to take another caller, folks. This is a Skype caller. Skype caller, go ahead. You're live.
Yes, hello, Joe. It's Wooly, mate. How are you?
Oh, hey, Wooly. What's going on, my man? Good to hear you.
No.
Wooly is our counterpart, has a show on Freedomlink Radio, one of our partners here from sunny, tropical Australia in the winter. Go ahead, Wooly.
Thanks, Joe. And how is everybody else? John, Griff, Andrew, and Henning. It's good to have a lot of experience and researchers in the one place. I basically had I just wanted you guys' opinion on the spraying that they're still doing down at the wellhead site. Joe would know that we just posted a video that is showing a sprayer down there, still spraying. I'm just wondering.
Wooly, if you can reconnect, man. The connection just went sour, so go ahead and reconnect. I got another caller in queue. Let's go to area code 603. You're live.
Hey, this is Watchman Noise. How you doing?
Very good, very good.
You know who I am, Smokin' Joe?
I do, from Facebook.
No, I figured I'd call in real quick. I've done a lot of work with Doc over at when he was at Freedomizer, and we just went through a big hullabaloo over there. And I helped get a lot of people on his show. We had an interview with Kendra Arneson just recently, which was pretty enlightening. Although there's one question I wanted to ask while I had AC on the phone here. As far as HARP goes, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether some of this stuff is HARP and some of it's scalar. And my question to you is, what do you think we're seeing more of? I mean, obviously I think we're seeing more scalar now, but how much of that is actually attributed to HARP, do you think?
Well, I think HARP is certainly old technology. It's nothing but a transmitter that heats the upper layers. That's all it is. And you have electrically movable antennas, but you don't have physical movement in your antennas. So I don't think HAARP is the problem. I think it's something else entirely, and it shouldn't be thought of as a weapon system. The so-called scalar transmitters are entirely different. You can think of them as modified radar antennas, or radar transmitters rather. Think of it like that. And they're in 10 nations now, including Brazil. Brazil has scalar of all things, and Israel has it, and the United States and China. So you can see we're approaching a real dangerous time when any of these nations can annihilate all life on Earth at their push of a button. I will also take this opportunity to mention that there are other things can be done with this so-called Tesla scalar. You can induce illness, sickness in living beings with scalar. You can make a town come down with an illness in the cells. You can affect the attitudes and the moods and the thinking of people. Back years ago on, I've been in amateur radio, ham amateur, I tried to say, radio for 50 years. And we always had a strange signal on 7 megacycles in the 40-meter band, and it was called a woodpecker signal. And it went on for years and years. Recently we found out that it was part of the scalar operation out of Russia coming over the top. And they could actually influence moods and levels of thinking in the American people coming over the top with the scalar woodpecker signals. So that is a very real thing that's going on. You certainly don't hear very much of that talked about in the press, do you?
No, not at all. Go ahead. Joe, I'm sorry.
That's okay. One thing I want to add is that I know that scalar can also mess with DNA and damage it. So that's another thing too. I just wanted to add in there. But go ahead, caller.
So now, do you think that this is going to be? I mean, do you think the reaction that we're going to see here is going to be on a larger scalar warfare scenario, or are we talking maybe a false flag type of situation where a small town is affected or a city is affected?
What worries me is in the upcoming war, probable war between Israel and Iran, the United States will become involved in that, and other nations will become involved. And if you're losing, you have nothing to lose, and you will use whatever weapon system you have at your disposal. That really bothers me. You know, the Alta report said in this future war that 4 cities in Israel would be turned to glass, annihilation. So the downward slope on the graph on the Alta report could very well be the attack on the United States, and that graph goes down on at least a 45 degree, and then it goes straight down as you dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in one day. The graph goes straight down. So it concerns me greatly. It just depends on how it's going to play out. We don't know. But it's not good. Self and family.
Indeed. Well, thank you for your time, guys. I'm not going to keep you. And, I'm up here in the cold in northern New Hampshire. Believe it or not, it's actually like 65, 60 degrees now, maybe. So
that's a good place up there.
The temperature's falling down to about 65 here in D.C. as well.
See, I've seen a lot more of that too. Temperature change has really become nuts in the last week and a half. I want to say here, where we're at 85 with 80% humidity during the day, and then at night we're down to literally overnight we're down to 38, 40 degrees in the middle of July. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
That could also be, it's Dr. Gianluigi Zangari. He's been appearing on Dr. Deagle's show speaking of the Gulf Stream current stopping and the North Atlantic conveyor belt's temperature falling, so you might be starting to feel the effects of it. Who knows?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I've lived here most of my life, other than when I was in